We saw The Hobbit, Desolation of Smaug.
No, it's not Smaug. It's Smaug.
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 The Hobbit, number 2. I thought it was good, John.
I enjoyed it too.
I thought it was
I enjoyed it.
insanely better than the first one.
I mean, I'm not going to say insanely better, but it was better.
Okay, where the first one I could see people liking or not liking it.
Yeah.
This one I can't see anybody walking out going, I at least didn't have fun watching that.
I mean, I can't say a lot without getting into like spoiler.
This isn't going to be a spoiler.
Yeah,
thing.
no spoilers here,
just,
guys.
Just talking.
The ending does feel a little anticlimactic. Is that spoiler-ish?
No, because look,
I mean, this is definitely the. I mean, I kind of feel with this one kind of the same way I felt with
The Two Towers.
The Two Towers, yeah, it is almost the same feeling leaving the theater of like, shit, it was just getting good.
See, I'm too little to remember that.
Right.
Actually, I thought the ending started to get weak. Like, the very middle of the movie was amazing for me. The whole time in the middle, I was going, this is awesome. The first movie sucked compared to this. Yeah, the first movie I thought was a little weird. It didn't have... This movie has so much more action in it.
It definitely has more action.
There's just more to it, I feel.
It doesn't let up. Like, whereas the first one... I mean, it is almost comparable to the original trilogy. Like, the first one is kind of slow and prodding because it's getting the story rolling.
Yeah.
The second one has a lot of action, and if it plays just like the old trilogy, the third one's just going to have an insane amount of action.
Compared to the first one, there was a lot less running around and, like, jumping on stuff and, like, just... slapsticky weirdness. Like, the biggest problem I had...
It was still slapsticky.
There was a lot...
me,
There was still some of it.
I mean, but even the first one, I found... Well, that's where you and I differed on the first one, because I didn't mind the slapsticky stuff in the first one, because I'm like, we're in the mine, we're having fun, whatever.
First Hobbit threw me completely out of it because they went sledding down the side of a rock mountain on wood.
Well, this they went riding down rapids in a barrel.
But that's practical. See, a lot of that was actually
Is
done.
it? Have you ever tried to do that?
No, but it could happen. A lot of the stuff in this movie there was a lot less CG.
I noticed there were a lot more costume, like the orcs close up.
Yeah.
I mean, they definitely like the main orc bad guys or whatever. When they were close up, they were CG.
They were CG, but there's another army. I'm not going to spoil who, what is, whatever. Similar to the original trilogy, that they were all people in costume.
I wonder whose army that would be.
They were all people in costume when they did that, except for the ones in back, obviously, but the ones up front were.
Yeah.
And then the very next cut was CG orcs. And it was so jarring to be like, oh, that's why I like the original one, and then CG orcs again.
I did notice, like, there were a couple shots on the river ride.
GoPros.
Well, did it look like
it was GoPro?
It looked like
I noticed it
or something.
You go for it.
It was odd. It was
but it was real. They didn't CG at all. There was so much more.
There was so much.
I don't know if the story is just this is the part of the story where it lends itself to more practical sets. But there was more towns, more real places they went, more mountains, more like the whole city. The
sets.
There was more sets that were real and not just CG things. And that's kind of why
I mean, all of those movies have always had a good balance.
I feel like the first one way overdid it.
Really?
And the orcs still bug me. The fact that they're CG.
In the first one, there was more of CG orcs. I noticed. In this one, they had like when they're interrogating the guy, that's a costume. Like that's somebody, and you can tell when they're close up on the guy. That's somebody in a costume, and it looks awesome.
Yes.
And I wish they had done that for those main bad guy orcs because like just the armor and the makeup and the texture you can see. You can't capture that with computer animation.
No, it's getting too ballsy.
You can try as hard as you can, and computer animation is great. I mean, the dragon's fantastic in this movie.
Yes.
It looks awesome.
You guys know there's a dragon in it.
Intimidating.
Yeah.
But, that kind of CG works. When you try to CG something like an orc, why bother? Why not just make the costume and make it something that you can feel like you can touch? Because you're close in on these guys. Like with Gollum works, because, I mean, you're close up on that, but he looks weird and different enough where it kind of has to be CG. Similar to the dragon, but like the orc is like a clear, big human form. Like, just make it a costume, guys.
Well, look, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was marginally better than the first one. There's a lot more action, fight scenes, real stuff. You guys have seen the trailer. Legolas is back. It's kind of cool to see.
Legolas is a badass in this one. I mean, he was a badass in the first one, but in this one, like, as soon as he showed,
he's a ninja.
Like when you first see him in the first one, he walks around like, hey guys. He kind of looks boyish.
Yeah.
In this one, he walks in, he's like, what's up, motherfucker? I'm
gonna kill everybody.
Yeah, he's just like badass right out of the gate.
If only we had 3 Legolases, we could win the entire fucking war.
And then Kate from Lost is there for some reason.
Yeah.
I didn't realize she was in this movie until I saw it.
Who?
The girl from Lost.
Who's the girl from Lost?
Did you never watch Lost?
No.
Okay, well.
The other elf?
Yeah, the other elf.
I thought she was in the original trilogy.
No, that whole, her and Legolas, that whole thing with the dwarf, that's completely made up.
Well,
Did you ever read the original book?
No, okay, that's the thing. Shit. I've never read the original books.
Yeah, I mean, this is so different from the
Here's a question I want to have for you. Is it bothering you, the liberties they've taken?
No. Not
Okay.
me. Some people it does, and I understand why. But I'm one of those guys where the original books are so very weird because they do have parts that don't feel like a proper narrative.
Okay.
Like Tolkien just basically says "fuck it" in some places. It's oh god. See, I hate that you told me I can't get into a spoiler territory because something's gnawing at me.
But did they add a lot of things from the book that tied into the original trilogy?
All that side stuff with Gandalf, that's not in the books.
Okay.
That is just like in the books.
That's what I'm saying.
In the
They
books,
added
Gandalf like says, "Hey guys, I gotta go," and then you don't see him until he comes. "Hey guys, I'm back. I was checking on this thing in the east. I'm a little worried about it, but let's keep going."
Okay, well, I was just wondering what was happening, what they've added in. So that's kind of stuff they've added in.
Well,
I
like-
enjoyed all the ties to the original trilogy.
But like even that whole river sequence in the original book, it's like they use the barrels to like get into the barrels and then get onto the river, and that's it.
But you need the GoPro shots.
There's no chase. There's like that doesn't exist in the books.
Okay. Well, my only complaint, and for this to be my only complaint, is pretty good. I mean, the movie was great up until the very end. I feel like the fight at the end kind of went on a bit too long.
Peter Jackson made a fight last too long? No, that doesn't sound like the Peter
I feel like
Jackson I know.
it kind of reminded me of Star Wars Episode 3, the fight at the end of that between Anakin and Obi-Wan, and they're just jumping all over everything like bam, bam, bam.
Yeah, it's very cartoony.
It's not that it's cartoony. It just kind of went on a little longer than I wanted it to.
Okay, I feel you.
I'm sitting there like, come on, just end it.
Yeah.
And then the ending comes in. You motherfuckers. So you got to see all three movies. Everyone knows that they're connected. No one's expecting an individual story from each of them.
Right. I mean, that'll ultimately, to me, be the test of these movies. Because when I watched the original trilogy, I remember going and seeing the first one in the theater, just like the first Hobbit. It's like, well, that was kind of slow and prodding. I don't know. So went and saw the second one, and I'm like, I'm kind of getting interested in this. And
I was
by the
super
end of the third one, I'm just like, fuck yeah. And then I wanted to go back and watch the other two, and I enjoyed them more.
I do want to do that.
So these movies kind of feel like that, where I'm not really going to know if I really like them until the third one's out and I've seen it.
The ending of this one makes me want to see the third one, where the ending of the first one made me wary of this one.
Yeah.
Where it was kind of like, oh, they just shoved that in there. But this one was like, all right, yeah, a whole year.
Yeah, I know. It's like waiting a week for your TV show, but it's a year. Because it really does, like, it is an anticlimactic, and it is just like, what the what? It's such a strange place to cut off, too.
From Hobbit 1 to 2 went so quick, though. Like, I can't believe it's been a year since that last one. So
it'll be up for you,
cool. Go see it. You won't be disappointed, I don't think.
You might be disappointed.
Blame him.
Yeah. Smaug.
Make sure you guys like this video and subscribe and subscribe and like it and subscribe and subscribe and like it and subscribe.
Tell your friends about it.
Tell your friends about it.
Guys,
tell your moms about it.
Yeah, hey guys, you got to see these two dorks talking about things on the internet. You're going to be blown away.